That's to be expected. This is a Sears Beta Vision, and this is a portable model designed to be used with a camera, not a camcorder, but just a standalone camera that will plug into this unit here. And this has a little spot in the back for a battery, and you would disconnect the VCR portion from the tuner timer. So this contains the tuner and the timer, and also a power supply inside. And you lug this thing around with your camera. Anyway, was given this one, and has a tape stuck inside. Made the mistake of pressing eject off camera, and the way beta VCRs worked is as soon as you put the tape in, they threaded them. So if you, say, left a tape in this machine for, I don't know, 35 years and stored it, and then went to go turn it on and the belts had perished, yeah, it won't give you the tape. So I'm going to see if I can take this apart and get the tape out. Start by taking this window. Are these screw covers? Oh, they are. All right. Okay, can I take this off? Yeah, awesome. I think it's just these two screws on the back. Maybe start taking things off. The battery cover. It really doesn't feel like it wants to come off. Does this have to disconnect here? Oh, check this out. So it's got these little sliders here. So I think I just slide this to disconnect it. Okay, so they don't slide. I'm not sure what that arrow is for. They're just little clips that go in there. Unfortunately, because I tried sliding the first one, it broke off. But then once you uncover it, you can just pull this right off of here. Now I think this will have to come off. Yes, see, it was holding that in place. So there's the clip is also a screw, and then that's a screw. Yeah, that came off nicely. Now, just like any other portable convertible type VCR from this era, jam-packed full of parts. Circuit board over the transport. Oh, okay. Probably needed to get in the bottom, so I'll probably have to take this off as well. We can already see the complete lack of belt. This feels like the capstan motor. And there's no belt on there. That is probably for the video head, or is this the, yeah, because this is at an angle. Interestingly enough, look, there's a little service port on the bottom for accessing this. Don't know why, maybe just to unstick it. Anyway, a lot's gonna have to come out to get at that. Let's look at the top first, just because I think it'll be easier to get in the top first, so we can take a look. I bet you this is just belts. Sanyos are usually pretty robust machines. Yep. And the head spins freely, we saw that below. So the tape is stuck threaded in here. And you can see that circuit board down there. So, okay. Not much interesting up top here. Let's take the bottom board off. Okay, so from the look of it, there's no boards here or on the back. It's connected down here to that board on the side, and it's connected to this front board. So what I think I'll do is, I think this board probably hinges out this way, and then this bottom board will hinge down. Nope, didn't need to remove the front board, it just unclips. However, this isn't going to get me anywhere. Take a look inside here. There is no belts. That capstan motor I was spinning, that is just a flywheel. That's just for stability. So is everything driven up top? Like, having a tape in here means you can't access anything? What the hell? Alright, we're back to the top. I really should have done a closer inspection before just immediately jumping into the bottom. Where are the motors? There's one motor under the tape here. So let's... Oh, maybe I can just help this. You're really not trying hard enough. Why does it stop so fast? Yay! Good enough. Now we get a look inside. Oh! Direct drive gears. I like that. Some light in here. So there is a belt right there. And that's probably driving them loading, because that looks like it drives a whole heck of a lot. Okay, a bit of an assessment on this. The belts are weak, but not completely crap. There's also 1 or 2 idler tires down there. And to get at that, I think this whole top loading mechanism has to come out. And to unmount this, I have to get at screws that are hard to get at in here, and maybe pull some other parts out. This disassembly is going to be just unpleasant. So what I want to do before I go down that rabbit hole is see if this will actually play a tape. Just without a tape in there, it looks like the take-up spool was moving, so it shouldn't eat the tape theoretically. Now when I try and load it without a tape here, see, it binds up there. I tried lubricating everything, but I think the belt's just too weak. But if you give it a hand, it works. What's weird is that it had, like, watch this reel here. It has no problem coming backwards, but it stops at exactly the same place, 2 different places, and you have to power cycle it. So I'll hit eject, and it just stops. If I power cycle it, oh, it actually got further this time. So, is this not going fast enough for it? Maybe, it seems it's a little impatient. I don't know. The answer is new rubber. It's just, do I want to put new rubber in this machine right now? Give you a hand. There we go. Now, will it play? No, it just stops. Fast forward works great. Rewind works great. Why did it stop when I hit play? The capstan's clearly working. I can hear the head drum spinning. Yeah, I can see it there. What? Is it something silly, like it needs to see this? Oh, let me see if this has got an encoder on it. It does, right there. I bet you this is why it's stopping when it ejects and why it's stopping when it's playing. Actually, if I hit rewind, will it stop as well? Now you're locked out. Jerk. Yeah, and if I hit fast forward. Okay, ooh. A bit of tape got loose in there. Some light on it. Let's try rewind. Fast forward. Okay, well. Man, so this counter belt is a critical part? What the shit? Okay, so I was able to get it going by just spinning this manually while it's playing. Any direction, doesn't matter, forward, backward, just needs to see movement. And I'm paused, so far so good. I'm gonna spin this and let's see what video we get.
I'm just doing my job.
I know, Ethan, but there's so much proof.
Not bad. I think this is beta 2 speed. I don't know what the LED on here would tell me. Oh, play.
I mean, this isn't...
Rewind. Play.
Defend me. He felt for me.
Fast forward. It's weird when I hit play, it does that.
This is a man who is fundamentally incapable.
Not bad. Now, keep in mind, I have done nothing. I haven't cleaned the heads, I haven't cleaned the transport. This is the tape that was in it, which appears to be some soap operas. Just to date this recording here.
A CKY Newsline.
Good afternoon, I'm Sylvia Kuzik.
Oh my God, is
in
that
the news, the Solidarity
blown out?
and anti-communist forces are gaining strength in their bid to form the next Polish government. Poland's communist prime minister submitted his resignation today, hours after Solidarity leader Lech Wałęsa met with President Wojciech Jaruzelski. Wałęsa, a shipyard worker from Gdansk who founded Solidarity, was jailed for his efforts as well, and he is favored by many to be the next prime minister. In other news, people in the prime minister's hometown of Baie-Comeau here in...
Neat. The picture is a little bit washed out. I don't know if that was this recording or maybe the capacitors in this are a little shit. I'll have to try a known good tape. Oh, neat. The TV's not blanking out the tuner. Cool. Okay. Random test tape. Was this rented from the Bay in Regina? Or, like, because if you buy a tape from a store, they wouldn't put that. It's probably... I didn't know the Bay rented movies. Yeah. It's got a rental number on there. Huh. Didn't notice that. Okay, let's see how this looks. Lots of noise.
What? What been thinking? That thing with my brain. Can we still change that?
Yeah, actually that's a very clean pause, but the picture's shit. It's got a lot of herringbone, it's got a lot of like noise around there. Again, these machines are aging, but I mean, like, that's I have some very good machines that are maybe only a year or two newer than this one. This performs about what I would expect from a Sanyo. Actually, this performs exactly like what I would expect from a Sanyo, because it is a Sanyo. Okay, now the question becomes, do I spend the time and the effort to put new belts in this? Never mind, that was actually really easy. Front panel just needed to come down. And this very weirdly shaped plastic piece here. That's a wild design. So there is the pulley that attaches the counter belt to this. And we can see everything else under here. I'm still going to remove the top loader assembly to see if I can get more visibility. Screw it. There's too much to get this out. But this cover can kind of come unseated here. So based on what I saw, this belt and this belt that drive the reel tables are fine. The take-up works correctly. Fast forward and rewind are fast, responsive. The trouble spots, first and foremost, are these two thin belts that go to the counter. I have tons of thin belts and the quality doesn't matter, so those are easy to replace. And the second is, if you see there's an idler tire right there that looks smooth as hell, and a belt there that drives the tape loading. So that is a little sluggish. So let me see how hard it is to get at that idler and belt. Well, I found some cheap Amazon belts for the counter. The belt for the tape loading looks okay, but this is rock hard. Very smooth. I could try sanding it and maybe using some rubber renew. Let me see if I have something that would fit on here first. Okay, sanded and renewed. Let's get this back in here. Also gave this pulley a bit of a lubrication. It was pretty noisy. Same thing with that metal post that this goes on. Moment of truth. Put everything in, new belts and whatnot. I didn't put that cover, wherever that is there, in yet, because it's got a pain in the butt C-clip. I want to see if this will actually work. No! Okay, so I was able to get a visual on this, and yeah, it is that belt that's slipping. That rubber tire is doing well now. So, in order to get at that belt, I have to take this little white arm and unclip it off the top so I can get the belt off the top of that gear, which means I had to take this tape sensor and this little black piece off, and then probably just unclip that arm, pull that off. God, this is quite the nightmare mechanism. Good God, this is a horrible mechanism to work on. Okay, so when I pulled that arm out, there was a little rod. See it? That rod right there goes through the mechanism. And let's see how easily you can see this here. There's a spring. And I'm pretty sure that spring went to it. When you hit eject, it pulls that arm down like that. So I think that's how it was, because I didn't see what went on down here. And the spring was just sort of flapping in the breeze when I looked underneath here. So, got that hooked on with my spring hook tool. I boiled the belt, sanded it, and then used rubber renew. So hopefully that's enough, because I don't have one that size and thickness. Okay, everything's back in again. I think it's going to work properly. Let's see what happens. Oh. Oh, that's glorious. Okay, now, I don't have the controls hooked up. One moment, please. All right. There we go. And this looks a little washed out. Could be the electronics on here. Let's try tracking one way, tracking the other way, kind of. Wow, this is like really clear. Pause. Not bad. How's the audio?
Civilians over the last couple of weeks, week and a half or so, and we'll take a look at one of them tonight at 6 on NewsHour. Join us then.
Got some noise in the background. That could just be all the electronics here. Picture kind of sucks. Let's try that other tape. So I did try cleaning the heads. They were spotless. There was nothing on them. Yeah, there's a lot of herringbone noise on this tape. I swear that I used this tape as a test tape in another video I did testing one of these machines. I think it was a Toshiba, and it did not have this pattern, but I'm going to grab some more tapes just to see what happens here. All right, picked a different tape. I believe this one is Beta 3.
Computer, locate Jake Sisko.
Jake Sisko is in Cargo Bay 14.
That's pretty decent, actually. It's funny, this TV has problems with the interlacing on sources like old videotape. Lots of little dropouts here and there. I mean, it looks like it's just dirt coming out of the head. They're kind of dancing around. That's just dirt flying everywhere. But overall, this is very clean. Do frame advance here. Ooh, that's a perfect still. And then unpause.
Thanks, old man.
So weird how it comes out of scan. Okay, I don't want to play too much of this, but I think it's working. I did notice that the full rewind, is a little sluggish on this tape. It wasn't on the other one, but some of these are stickier than others. This is a sticky BASF. I think this is from the generation that wasn't sticky. This is like late 80s tapes, but they're still a little squirrely. So I'm gonna boil, sand, and rubber renew the two belts that drive the idler on here, just so the whole thing is as good as it can be. Then button it up, and then I will demonstrate it. Something I noticed while putting this back together, you don't need to remove these two screws to get at the transport, just these two here. These hinge. There's a little, see that little black post there, and there's one in there, so it actually hinges off these ones. All right, it's all put together. I gave it a rudimentary cleaning. It was pretty filthy, but in overall good shape. These little marks here, there's actually the plastic on top of this that was never removed, and I'm not going to peel that. Keep it protected. Remote cleaned up nicely. It's missing the strain relief, and there was some weird electrical tape and hot glue mess on here, but it's got a little loop that hooks it around to help with the strain relief, and that should be enough. I think it's fine. Cleaned up rather well. It's a decent little wired remote. Plugs in with a TS tip and sleeve 2.5mm jack. Tuner timer also cleaned up nicely. So first off, I want to show how weird the wiring is on this. On the back of the VCR, I have this DIN connector for DC in connected to the VCR portion. And per the manual's instructions, I have the RF out connected to RF in. And in addition to RF in, the F connector, there's antenna in and out. So I have this hooked up to my internal cable setup, and this is outputting to a CRT television. Then the video out and audio out on the tuner timer I have connected to my flat screen to show what's going on. I haven't done anything with these yet. I feel like these might be the missing key, although it's not listed in the manual. So I'll show you my problem here. First off, it's powered off, so we got no signal there, and we just have static here. So we'll turn this on. This is powered on. RF modulator is on. As you can see,
merely the airline, airport, and province.
The tuner is now outputting from the video and audio line out on the tuner timer. So I'm getting the tuner pass through from here. However, on the RF modulator, I'm getting nothing. Nothing at all. If I turn the modulator off, but on, I'm not actually getting the timer, the tuner timer, or sorry, the tuner part of the tuner timer. Now, let's see what happens if I press play. So I got the tuner on the line out, and the RF modulator has nothing. So let's play a tape. A little noise there. But now I have nothing here. So the video and audio out from here won't pass through the signal from here because it's going through the RF, but so it goes through the RF output here. And again, what? This is user error. I feel so stupid, but I also feel misled. So the back here does say video and audio out, but you'll notice that this is blanked. Watch what happens when I unplug it. There we go. There's my signal. This blanks the RF out from the tuner when you connect something to the output. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to hook it up to the output on here. And there we go. So that DC in also provides AV going towards the VCR. Still pretty janky though, because this RF connector here Oh, what? If I unplug the RF connector from here, I lose the tuner timer output on there. If I turn this off, I lose everything. Now if I unplug the RF out from the VCR, I still lose everything. This is wild and weird, and I don't know why they would do it this way, because that's still on. You think that would be outputting something. But no, these are 100% dependent on each other. But back up enough, you can see I've got a signal on both sets, and I've got audio.
Safety Services Manitoba.
And I've got audio here.
Beginnings in 1964 through to the present.
So let's play the tape. Ah, there we go. I've got video, and I've got video.
Exactly does it mean becoming Grand Nagus?
And here,
Speak to me. You must first make an appointment with Rob.
perfect. Well, perfect enough. So just to summarize, because I went on a weird tangent here, it's a little bit clear to me now. The age of this, the VCR part has an RF modulator, because chances are if you're using this independently, your TV won't have a AV line in, right? So the RF modulator is located here. Your tuner timer is here, so your antenna pass-through is going in here and out to your TV. Basically, you have antenna in, and it will either bring the RF in when the modulator's on, or it will pass the antenna out when the RF modulator is off. So it's got two inputs, basically. And this switches between them. Now, this has an AV output. It both has an AV output on the back and through the DC link cable. If I plug into the AV output on the back, it's going to blank the signal going to the DC cable, because you can only have one thing plugged into the AV out. It's impedance matched. So the long and short of it is, you need to connect these two with coax. You have antenna in and out that you can use correctly on here, and you have AV in and out on here. And the AV out on here, I don't know why I would use that. Just don't use it. Don't worry about it. I love that Sears thought it was necessary to mention that this VCR was solid state. Someone find me a tube VCR. A tube Betamax VCR, that would be crazy. So, looking at some other features on this. Tuner's pretty basic, 12 presets, no extra UHF presets or cable, whatever. Here's the tuner settings on it. And it does only list VHF and UHF. I mean, this is old enough that they wouldn't have put cable in there anyway. And pretty standard. For those not familiar, this is what's called a varactor diode tuner. It has little push button presets. By default, these came programmed with VHF channels 2 to 13, but you could replace these numbers with UHF numbers and then tune them in with this little control up here. The idea being, back in the days before cable was commonplace, a lot of cities would have a few UHF channels. So if 8 wasn't a VHF channel in your area, you could remove the number 8, replace it with like 45, and then use the controls here to turn this into 45. You'll see that a lot when you find these old ones on eBay, especially from major US cities. There's actually a little door here that you kind of pull. How does this work? This should just come out. There we go. And there's your numbers. And you would just pop these little numbers out and replace them. These would actually come with a little sheet of all the extra numbers you could swap in there. Now, as far as tuning is concerned, let me go to a station with a number, or with a channel here. So as you can see, we've got a signal. If you are to set this, the first thing you always do, oh, actually it's got instructions there. Set AFT to off. Always set it to off, that way you have granular control. Then you pick the preset you want to change. In this case, it's 10, which is I. So you can see there's I here, and it's got a little thumb wheel and a switch. So the switch changes the band. You have VHF low, VHF high, and UHF. VHF being split up into two bands in North America, 2 to 6, 7 to 13, and UHF being 14 to 83. This is old enough that it goes all the way up to 83 for UHF. They shrunk the band in, I think, 1983 to go up to 69 to make room for telecommunications. So once you've done that, so you've set your switch, say I want to set it to VHF low. So I'll slip it down there, and there's a little indicator, that orange indicator in this thumb wheel. You spin to go and find your channel. So I have stations on 2 and 6, so I'm going to start spinning the thumb wheel until we find a station. This is a very slow, time-consuming process, but eventually I should... Oh, did I see something there? This control might be a little bit dirty. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, now I have a signal. It's a little bit off. Yeah, it's a little loose. So now that I have the signal, I flip AFT on. And when I flip AFT on, you see it gets a little clearer. You want it close enough where you can see the image without AFT, and then turn AFT on to pull in that last little bit. But you don't want to tune with AFT on, because what can happen is AFT can pull, AFT is automatic fine tuning, it can pull a station from pretty far away from where it is, right? It's got this sort of area around the frequency that you've tuned in where it'll pull in, but it won't always lock in. So the next time it might not be able to lock in that far. So by tuning with AFT off, you get it as close as possible so that when you AFT on, lock in every time. Now, channel 10 is channel 2. And channel 2 is channel 2. So yeah, looking at the controls, we already went over the tuner. You have a pretty standard power switch. Off apparently turns on the heater in the VCR, because this would be used in colder weather. You take it with you. It has both a dew sensor and a little heater for the video head. There's actually 2 little extra wires on top. You probably saw when I was in there. I might show some footage if I have any, for a little heater coil to speed up the thawing process. So off, on, and timer. So if you set a timer, of which this has 5 presets, and it can go up to 2 weeks. And then your RF modulator on and off. I guess this starts the charge for the battery. The battery compartment's in this empty. I'm assuming it was thrown away years ago. And for setting the clock and timer, just push this little drawer out. You can hold down clock set and set the actual clock. So day, hour, and then this program clear zeros the seconds. So if you want to get it exact, you press that. Has a multiple stage dimmer. And I think this is just program clear. So let's do a program. So first you set the program. There's 5 different ones. Then start. So I guess you hold down day. Oh, I see. No, it changes there. So let's pick Tuesday at 3:08 p.m. and then stop. What? What? What the shit? Okay. I want to start. Let's do Wednesday at 3:01. What's bad about that? All right, we're going to try this again. I'm stupid. It wants me to set the dang channel. Even if it's sitting on a channel and that's the correct one, it wants me to like press the channel button. So I just cleared the whole thing, Sunday, 12 p.m. So it's at the first one. So it flashes start stop until you press this button to select start. And then you can go let's make it Friday at 4:04. Now I have to press the channel button. See, it resets back to the first one. Then I can say pick channel 8. Now I can press start stop to go to the stop time. Of course, day won't let me. So I can go 7:10. And then there we go, 404 to 710. Is that it? Yeah, I can go other ones if I want, or I can just go back there. And now it shows I have a program. Can you tell I haven't actually set one of these in probably 30 years? Anyway, moving on to the VCR portion, there is a broken off switch for operation lock that basically locks out all the buttons on this. So when you're carrying it, you won't accidentally do something. It is a separate power switch, because again, you can use this independently. Record lock is used as a second button for record or audio dub. A lot of older machines required that you hit play and record together, or some of them had like 2 record buttons that you pressed simultaneously to avoid accidentally recording over something. And that's what this is. This is basically just a second button for record or audio dub. Usual controls, fast forward, play, rewind. You got forward and backward visual search, stop, pause, frame advance. That's kind of nice. Mechanical counter with a memory. So when you turn this on and you fast forward or rewind, it will stop at 0. Do sensor as we showed, battery indicator, which is showing full right now, and I guess that's because there's no battery. I'm assuming when you put the battery in, it'll bring down the voltage, and you'll be able, this meter will show you where it's at. Record speed, beta 2, beta 3, pretty standard. Mic input for when you're recording, so you can use a separate mic instead of the one built into the camera. Remote, which I showed, earphone for monitoring the audio, your tracking controls there, and I believe it has the big camera connector on there. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a camera that'll plug into this. I do have one that's got this connector here. I can't remember which one's the standard EIA-J connector, if it's this one or that one. But yay for incompatible standards. All right. I figure I might do what I usually do and show some test recordings and playback of some tapes, just to give an idea. I mean, this isn't going to be super accurate to how this performed when new. I actually have some recordings that this recorded, and I've uploaded them on my other channel, like old commercials. And the picture wasn't great, like the tuner was a little weak. That could have just been how the cable TV was wired in the house this was being used. But the audio on beta 3 was quite clear, so yeah, not too bad. Maybe I'll link an example that was recorded on this and you can see what I mean. I mean, again, these recordings are 30 years old. Again, they were probably 35 years old. This was retired, I think, in the late 80s. So yeah, I mean, judge for yourself, but I can make some modern recordings for how it's performing now, and I'm going to use my favorite style beta tape. These are just so cool looking. Well, I can't channel change while it's recording, but I did want to show that I've programmed these all to my stations. So 2, 3, 4, 5 I've blanked out because that's my security cameras. 6, 7, 8 is Chromecast. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 channels, and there's definitely something on.
Coffee tells a story. We select high-quality, responsibly sourced beans and blend them using the same recipe and level of care since 1964. It's Canada's favorite coffee for a reason. Tim's for good. Learn more at timhortons.ca.
Meet Febrez's Miracle Spray. New Febreze Fabric Refresher. I literally use this every day to enjoy its freshness for hours after I make the bed.
Well, that was not great. It's about what I would expect. In my experience, Sanyos were never high performers, but they seem to last. So, I mean, it's got that. But yeah, especially the beta 3 recording, there's lots of noise and wiggle. Again, could just be the age of the machine. Let's try some commercial tapes. All right.
Jim is my name, no one else is the same. Jim is my name.
Quite a bit of herringbone on that one too. Let's try another one. Ooh, dual window. It's also from Video Stop. What about this classic?
Off the cross!
That herringbone really seems to be on every Beta 2 commercial tape. So let's try that tape that had some stuff recorded off TV in Beta 3.
Well, I'd find a way to separate them, sir. But that Nog's a bad influence.
Alright, I think it's time I wrap this video up. It's getting really long. Quality-wise, kind of crappy. There's lots of dropouts, and these tapes don't have those dropouts. I know for a fact the tape that has this recording off TV, it's perfectly clear on my Sony SL860D, which is my current workhorse. So it's not a problem with the tapes. I mean, they're old, yeah, but those dropouts are something in the mechanism here, whether the tape isn't being held firmly against the video head drum because of a tension issue, or maybe the pinch roller is aged, which it probably has. The bottom line, this is going to need proper rubber. What I did was just to get it working to show you guys, because I think the internet deserves to see these old machines. Someone's got to document them, right? But in order to actually make this usable reliably, all the belts will have to be replaced. The tire will have to be replaced. The pinch roller will have to be reviewed, but probably replaced, and it will need a full tune-up. That herringbone is weird, but I've seen that when I'm digitizing from some other older Beta VCRs. And at least on those, I only had it with my digitizing equipment. It was clean on like an old TV. So that could just be some noise getting fed into this aged circuitry that probably has weak filter capacitors. I'm going to leave it for now, but I might price out rubber parts in there just to see. I mean, if the price is right, it sure would be nice to get this machine working again reliably, even if it isn't the best performer. I mean, the fact that it's made it this far and electronically is working, I mean, it deserves at least some sort of a chance, right? I wanted to include some sort of a commercial. I like finding old commercials for these machines, or even just information from the Sears catalog. I mean, this was sold by Sears, presumably around 1981, but I can't find anything. There is it looks like a Toshiba-made portable from around this time that they advertised everywhere, and Sears used a lot of Toshiba and Sanyo. Those were their two go-to manufacturers. But this one seems to be absent. In fact, the only information I can really find online about this model is the Sanyo version. So I don't know if they sold this as like a discounted one, or maybe it was just a short-lived, or maybe I just don't have the catalogs it was shown in. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.